Welcome back. In following my last two videos in Star Citizen, we're still currently in the free fly until the 25th, so we've got a few more days, and I wanted to talk about in this one what you can do during the free fly. So I'm pulling out the Nomad. That's one of the free ships that you get in this event. You just have to use that code, GETINTOTHEVERSE, and that will give you access to the Nomad and 4 other ships. One of them's the Prospector, and I'll be covering that in a separate video. What I wanted to do in this first one is take a look at the Nomad and what you can do in it, and I think it's perfectly fine to do some bounties, just fly around and get comfortable playing the game. It's a pretty well-polished ship, and it uses some of the newer technologies that they've implemented for the hover quad. So you'll see as I come to it here, it doesn't actually sit on the ground with its landing gear down. So this is the inside of the Nomad. We're making our way to the flight station. I'm going to hop in the seat, and then we'll go through some bounties and just kind of get a feel for how to fly. I'm using a stick and throttle. You can be using a keyboard or whatever you'd like, but just for point of reference, I'm using a right-hand stick and a left-hand throttle. All right, holding R to start the ship for flight ready, and just going to look at the contract manager here down at the bottom, and that shows the contracts that we have. And if we look at Bounty Hunter down here, we can see that there's a couple kinds, and yours may look something like this. Looks like there's some shooting going on outside too. Somebody hostile, and the turrets got him, so that's interesting. Yeah, so these stations all have turrets. You can see those little blue turrets there, and if you have a crime stat or if a hostile NPC comes close, those will shoot at them. So that was interesting to catch that live. It happens sometimes. So I'm near ArcCorp right now by Genie Point, and I have not completed the trial contract. So you'll see here different companies that may issue contracts will have you do some kind of trial contract first before you can go do further contracts for them. Well, we're near ArcCorp, so we want to look for the ArcCorp one. That's the Bounty Hunter trial contact from Blackcheck Security. That's the company that services the ArcCorp area. If you notice these suspect apprehension certifications, these are for human players. And this is from the Bounty Hunters Guild. And what it says here is they want you to successfully complete the certification process to apprehend a wanted suspect, American Viking. So this is the character's name. If you take this, you pay a fee, which is a very small amount. And if they use their mobi-glass by pushing F1 or F11, for example, it'll show them on your mobi-glass so you can track them that way. Somebody who has a crime stat would evade you is by not using their mobi-glass. So we're going to accept this trial contract from Blackjack Security and fly to the waypoint. So you may notice that his last known position is somewhere way over there, and that's inconvenient for us. So what we'll do is manually use the quantum drive system, find something that sends us kind of in that direction. There's a couple of ways you could do this. You can either use one of these random points, or you can use an orbital marker. But if you do this, you can hold B, get out of quantum travel. Sometimes it'll set your navigation mode here, so you have to clear that. And then that may give you a clear perspective on where you need to go. The interesting thing about the security depot is that's where you go if you need to relieve your crime stat. And I guess it was a pretty quick kill there. And that goes to show you that the Nomad is pretty strong for a starter ship. A lot of these early contracts are going to be very, very easy. I thought it was an FPS mission, and you'll notice that these turrets just automatically start shooting you if you go close to it. If you're curious, you can actually kill these turrets. It takes some doing because you have to manually shoot them, but it is possible.
Shield hit.
So a little bit of shooting and dodging of the turret. You can shoot them. This place only had one, so it wasn't too bad to take care of, but you do have to manually aim to hit those. So it's a little non-ideal. But if you did have a bunker mission, that's one way. You could come land here and get close.
Engine systems enabled.
Alright, so maybe we'll take a look and try another bounty.
Retracted.
So once you've completed that first one, it does open up the opportunity for other bounties now. And we see we have VHRT because I've already completed the bounty certification process. But if you have not, you'll just see these very low risk targets. If you're a new player, try one of these very low risk targets first. And just accept it, make sure it's tracked here. You can push F2 and see where he is. And he's also on Lyria, but it looks like on the other side of the planet from where I am. And the best way to get around the planet is, especially on something like Lyria, pop yourself up to a height that you can get to one of these orbital markers. If you're high enough, I go ahead and let it start calibrating too for optimal time.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel.
That will get you high enough that now you can quantum travel to other things. There's SAL-2. I'll talk about the ship configuration a little bit. So on the bottom right here, near the pilot's right hand, you can see that there's a triangle. That's your power grid, and I can change how it's set up
Quantum travel complete.
by using different keybinds. And you may have noticed that when I was in the last fight, I changed to guns, and you can see I get 6 more shots and it recharges much faster. If you set that instead to shields, your shields will recharge faster, and then there's boost, so that if you use your boost, it'll recharge faster. You can set these however you want, little ticks at a time, or you can hold the button and have it go all the way to the maximum. I find that it's easy enough to switch between full shields and full weapons. So this guy's not the target, but I think it's fun to shoot him. So we're going to take out this Avenger first.
Target has been destroyed.
You can tell that these guys are not very aggressive. They're not staying on top of you. I can get right behind this guy if I wanted to. The very low risk targets aren't going to do much to you. Like, you can circle around them. Just take it slow. You can do something like this where I'm holding a yaw input and a left strafe. And that's a good way to circle around an enemy. You can adjust that. If your yaw rate is high enough, you can stay in a good circle right next to him, and now I'm locked. So I can just keep shooting him like this, and he can't really do anything about it because that Eclipse he's in cannot outmaneuver this little Nomad. And that's why I think the Nomad's a really good choice for the free fly. Just be careful if you're maneuvering like this, you don't crash yourself into the ground, because that's really easy to do. So I'm switching to full guns, which I already have. And I'll start getting some shots off on him. Now, if he were shooting at me, you could do maneuvers like a corkscrew. He's not, but let's say I let him get an angle on me. If he starts shooting here, he's pointed at me. I could corkscrew, and he's not even going to bother shooting because he's a NPC.
Target has been destroyed.
But it's relatively simple on the VHRTs. Really just aim at them, take your time. You can stay slow. So I'll show you a VHRT just to prove that you can do even those with the Nomad. Engaging in a pitch fight,
Target has been destroyed.
still not that strong, as you can see. One guy left, he's over here, very slowly. Getting a little corkscrew, very slow corkscrew there, and he wasn't even able to hit me. So as you can see, even with the VHRTs, the Nomad is still very capable. Really didn't even need to use any missiles in order to take out all three of those enemy ships there. And with that, I'm going to conclude this little bounty hunting video with some low leveling around this planet Walla, just because I think it looks cool, and there's this kind of green plains area over here. Alright, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.